Did you see the message from Ray about?
Oh, that was interesting.
Oh,
It's being recorded. That's new.
yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Did you see the message from Ray in the AirNote channels?
For the maps, yeah. I'm fine with whatever edits. Like, I noticed you made copies. I would just edit the main ones. Like, we can always just change it back.
I was thinking maybe it's an idea to have it for mobile. We cannot we switch it to not zoomable by clickable by mouse, and if you're in mobile, can that be done? I'm not sure if that
not today. I don't think. Yeah. As far as I know, Grafana doesn't have any sort of like a setting. I can Google real quick just to see, but no, the only thing I'm finding is like the old issue where like the graphs used to grab your scroll point, so you had to like scroll on the edge, and like that's fixed. Yeah. But yeah, we'd probably have to write it. Like we'd probably have to do something where actually like in the map panel, it sees that you're using a touch device and then disables the touch-based scrolling.
Something like that. Or if it switches to a mobile mode. If it recognizes that.
Yeah.
Grafana can do that.
Well, it does. I mean, it knows what browser you're on and that sort of thing. But the thing is, the the map panel, I don't think has any logic in it right now, based on that. And I think that's what it would need. Let me open up an issue on the Panodata fork, just to get like Andres thinking about it. Let me just see if there's like, is there an issue on mobile? No, there's nothing that says like mobile. So I'll just open up a new. Let me just share screen so you can see what I'm typing. Disable single, what do we want to call this? It's like a disable map scroll via single finger while on today, if you're
that's good.
If you have device, since you can't see it on Zoom, but then where
that will do it.
Single. Cool. So I'll open that up, and that way Andres can maybe chime in or whatever and give his thoughts. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to need to make changes to this repository to make that happen. But it does, it's all in browser. My guess is probably Grafana even exposes some information to the panel because like the outer frame of Grafana knows that it's on mobile. So there might even be some information that it passes to the panel that would tell us whether it's on mobile or not. So yeah, in the meantime, I don't know if there's anything really simple that we can do.
I made a map myself with zoomable, so he can use that. It's the same map, but they just make it zoomable.
Yeah.
So he can switch. They just change different desktop. I call it a dashboard.
Yep.
And it should be fine.
Yeah.
This one is zoomable, the other one is not.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that.
That works for him.
Cool. Makes sense.
Okay, good.
Cool. The other things on my mind. Did you something you want to say?
No. Go ahead first.
So one thing on my mind is the database, because we're gonna have to renew the reservation pretty soon. Like I think in like 4 or 5 days or something like that. So yeah, like I had some conversation with Evadne in the channel, and I think she's probably right that the current instance size is probably bigger than it needs to be, especially now that we're using the cached count for the main safecast.org page. So what I'd like to do maybe I'll do it this week. This is a tough week for me because I have like all hands. But what I want to do is basically downscale the current database to the new proposed size, and then make sure everything is stable there, because then we don't have to reserve the big size. We can reserve the smaller size. And Evgeny had a good point that if we reserve the bigger size, we could potentially sell it and then reserve a smaller size, but it's just going to be kind of like a pain in the butt. Like I'd rather not have to do the work of like putting the reservation up on the marketplace again. And like, so yeah, basically what I was thinking of is just, putting in a plan. We'll probably be offline for a little while, like maybe a couple of minutes while it changes sizes.
That should be fine.
But my hope is that the site should still remain online even with the smaller size, because of the stuff that, like, if any turned on that extra profiling, you can see like the size that we're on right now has like, I think 8 cores, and mostly they never get used. So I think we're probably overscaled. I picked this size pretty much just because it was the same size that we were running on DigitalOcean. Like it was the same amount of memory. So I was like, all right, well, let me just go with this. But I think we could probably go smaller, especially now that we've had those optimizations. So.
And I also noticed that Eto-san did some changes to the Gitpod setup. I didn't look yet. I've been kind of offline for a week with the family of Yuka.
Okay, well, he approved mine.
Yes, I saw that.
I was just going to show this. This is the graph. You can see that like we have eight CPUs now, and we basically never breach 4. So I think we can probably go to. I think we can probably go to an extra large, but so maybe I'll just downscale it this week and hope for the best. If things get really weird, it might be a weird week for me. But
it's
so Ato. Yeah. Sorry.
The price difference is a lot.
Yeah, it's about half. So.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah. So our yearly reservation has been about $3,000, and so I'm pretty sure it's going to be like $1,500 if we can do a half-size database, which it looks like we probably can. And then the next thing is if we can be smarter about the exports. So like one of the things I was thinking, we have the issue around like more accessible data exports, and one of the things that I mentioned on there was maybe actually once a day spinning up a database, like a fairly large database, to do the export and then turning it off. If we do that, we could probably get even smaller. And then the next one on the list is real time. And so if we can stop that real time polling, like we could actually get down to the point where like the actual like RAM and CPU, like we have a lot of data in the database, but the actual RAM and CPU is pretty small. Like we could get there. We just have to address real time and also the exports and come up with something a little smarter there. So I think there's more savings to be had. But this week, I think we can save by stepping down from a 2XL to an XL. And that should cut half off our yearly reservation prices. Okay, so good. I don't see any new PRs from Ato, but he approved my Gitpod PR.
Yes, that's
so
right.
That might, yeah. So I went ahead and merged that. So yeah, it's here now, and I have the extension installed, which is why I get like a little button here. But like, yeah, anyone can now come in and click on the Gitpod button, or we can. I think I also linked to it in the document too. So if you don't have the extension, you can click this.
Then automatically picks up.
Yeah, and that'll do the same thing. The extension is kind of nice because you can also it gives you a Gitpod button on PRs as well.
Yes.
So like
yes, I have.
So like you can do this, and since I have the yeah, do you have it?
Yeah.
So you can just click this, and it gives you a Gitpod on that PR ready to roll, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So
picks it up automatically.
Yeah, and it should. Yeah. So you good?
I think you can even get an extension. If you have an extension for it in your browser, you can even any Git thing you can get.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what's giving me this button. Yeah. And yeah, so it's there. It's got a pre-build. I opened up like a couple of forum posts about like maybe smarter pre-building. And one of the things they said is that they're actually working on like a pre-build v2 that should hopefully make this faster. So right now the pre-build covers the bundle install, but that's it. Like all the database like download and setup and stuff like that can't go into the pre-build today. But apparently Gitpod is working on like a new pre-build setup that might make it faster. So I think it's still going to be like maybe 5 minutes or so, to get the environment spun up. But that's, I think, pretty good overall. So
especially for free.
yeah, especially for free. So that's pretty cool. And and also that slim error.
Yeah, did you find it?
Yeah, so let me get pod forum. So basically what it is I didn't realize this, but there's like the Microsoft extension repository.
Oh yes.
And there's the open extension repository. And what happened?
But you can switch. I normally switch.
I don't know if you can switch this. Can you switch Gitpod to the Microsoft one?
I think you can, because if you go into the JSON file, the JSON file, you can just, if you put this one in, hold a second, let me copy that.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat, then you can see that. If you put this in the JSON file, hold a second. If you go ahead, if you use this extension gallery in the product JSON, I think it's called. And then it takes up from Microsoft, not from. It's
cool. Let me.
No, it's not. It's not true. It's not a back. It's a reason for because they didn't want the Microsoft in there, because Microsoft were not completely open about it. I think there was something like that.
So I'll make a note of that in this forum post. But the other thing. So who is this from? Anton from Gitpod. He basically pinned it down to the issue is that the Rails extension is on OpenBSX, but it depends on Slim, which is not on OpenBSX. And so basically he pinged this to put the extension on OpenBSX. It's not kind of funny. Yeah.
I did it myself. I mean, my own extension in the marketplace, I moved them to VSX.
OpenBSX. So it's funny easy. That so it looks like who is this? Xiang, do they have like a Shang Lin, it looks like probably. Anyway, they published it, but they published it under a different name. So we have to get them to republish under the right name so that the Rails plugin knows how to resolve the extension. And then that should go away. So I think that's probably the simplest thing. But I'll make a note that and maybe Anton can confirm, but there might be a way that we can tell Gitpod to use the Microsoft Marketplace to work around it as well.
Yeah. I think it's in called product.json.
Product.json. So just use the forum post as a note keeping device. But maybe Anton can comment if that's possible or what.
Yeah.
Cool. But overall it still works. You just don't get the Rails plugin doesn't get loaded, so you probably lose whatever cool features that the Rails plugin has. But yeah, ERB syntax highlighting looks like navigation. Yeah, I had a feeling navigation is part of it. Like typically IDE plugins for Rails, a big part of what they do is let you navigate from controller to views or whatever. So we're probably lacking that until we can get this resolved. But in the meantime, at least basic code works. You can run, the site loads, and all the database gets loaded as well. So like if I load device stories, you'll see that like the TT-serve data is here. It's not wired to Elasticsearch yet. But what I was thinking we could do for that in the really short term is add like we have grafana.safecast.cc. We could add Elasticsearch, which would just be like an anonymous proxy, and then we can point Gitpod at this URL, which is just like a publicly readable proxy, and then that way all the Elasticsearch data could be there as well. Longer term, I would love to see us do more with, where is it? It's so Rails has, is it in here? There's like a seed. Hold on a second.
See you.
There's like a, yeah, there's like a seed helper in Rails, seed data. And so what I was thinking would be nice is actually to work on better seed data. So that like when you run DB seed, like today you get that like one admin account and I think maybe like one non-admin account. It'd be great to have seed data also include like a couple of drives and some Elasticsearch data and like the whole thing, so that without connecting to our production Elasticsearch, you have like some data to play with.
Yeah,
that's going to take more work, but I think like ultimately DB seeds, that's what it is. So there's a DB seeds file.
Everything starts up directly.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get something, you know, it'd be nice to build this out so that instead of, oh yeah, right now it's just empty, right? We have our own version of this that I think creates the user. But it'd be great to have something more fleshed out in here that creates a bunch of dummy data, so that you can just play around with it and do whatever you need to do. But that'll take more time. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what's on my mind. Yeah, go.
Yeah, talk about the development and other things like Emre. I had a short chat with him.
Yep.
And he seems like he's not interested in helping out more.
Bummer.
That's a bummer, because he was quite good. But
yeah, he was. I'm hoping Taka can pick up some of that, but it's, you know, he seems very interested, but I've had a hard time, you know, getting a sense of like when he's going to be making contributions and that sort of thing. So I'll drop him a note maybe later today just to see what his thoughts are. And then Batran's been working on some new map stuff. We actually had a call with one of the folks from Unfolded AI, which is like a new kind of hosted Kepler product. And they might be able to help us out with getting access to their map studio. And that should allow us to build something nicer than what we have in Grafana. Like they have like hexagon heat map support is like, it looks like a pretty big feature. So and they also have this like interesting timeline feature where you can basically show, like, it gives you like a time slider, and it gives you a bunch of rendered layers, but like over time. So as you slide to the future or slide to the past, I think it's,
yeah, I like that. What he was showing also, but the one with the clock on it, and then you can see it and move backward and forward. That looks very interesting.
I think he might have used Unfolded help with that as well. I'm not actually sure. Let me see. So they shared this one. So we talked to them this morning, and they showed us this map, which is by this group called Contour, using Unfolded Studio. And it had a good demonstration of the, once it loads, it had a good demonstration of like the time slider feature. So we had a chat with them today, and maybe they'll be able to help us out, and we can use their technology to make a nice map. So this is like the thing that
would be nice.
Yeah, and apparently like the way it sounds like it'll probably work is if we can just put everything on S3, they can read it off of S3. So like rather than be directly connected to like PostGIS or
that's even better.
Yeah, like if we just set up like an hourly export to S3, they can just like slurp it in from there, and then build maps off of it. So, and this looks pretty cool. It's a neat feature. You know, we talked about a bunch of different things about kind of like, you know, general interactivity and that sort of thing. But it looks like cool technology, and it seems like they're interested in helping us. They're probably going to want to keep their logo on it somewhere, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the logo. We can add our logo too, then it's good.
Oh, and I think the other thing they said is they would look to get like kind of regular feedback from us and that sort of thing. But you know, honestly, these recordings are public, so I'll just send them the recordings and they can.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
But where are they based? Do you know that?
I think Silicon Valley.
Okay.
The woman we talked to was at least she was West Coast US. So 317.
Looks interesting.
Yeah, so Batran's been digging into this as a way to, because basically he said like Kepler is really cool, but there's no like kind of hosted, like Kepler just exists totally inside of like a browser session. Whereas it looks like Unfolded is basically like it's a hosted data platform that knows how to use H3, which is the hexagon interpolation library, Kepler, which is the map, and then I don't know about DecGL, but it looks like probably a web, some sort of WebGL enhanced version. So, but yeah, Unfolded is basically like a hosted version of all these open source products that knows how to do data ingest and that sort of thing. So, yep. So it might be an option for, he's basically working on this one, is trying to figure out like how we're gonna, graph thousands of AirNote data, because what's there right now is not going to scale well when we have, we have a handful of these little like triangle sensors, but when we have like, 1,000, 2,000 of these little triangle dots all over the place, I think it's probably not going to make a whole lot of sense to people. So
no.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's on my mind. That's pretty much everything.
That's for me too. All the things I had. So
cool. Oh, I did, as kind of like a low running thread, I've been working on fixing the multiple data point support in Grafana as well. Like I don't have anything to really report there, but yeah, because it's there, but it doesn't work. It works okay with Elasticsearch, but it doesn't work with like InfluxDB. And so like I think you might have saw the issue. A lot of people are kind of like angry about it. Because with the Elasticsearch, you can basically add and remove metrics, but with Influx you can't. And so with Influx you always get like the full column set now. So I think I need to do a new version where what I'm going to do is like here you have like metric field, and then under that you have additional metric fields where you can do like a comma list of all the metrics from here that you want to show in the dropdown. And then along with that, I can probably address the rounding problem. So to give you at least like a precision control of how many decimal points you want to show.
Yeah, the rounding off would be nice, because it's that would be a very important one. And maybe even in options, I don't know how difficult that is. If you have in the option, you can say how many decimal you want to show in the metric. That would be great.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm imagining. Like, where is it? Is it in here? Yeah, something like this. So
yeah, those things. Yeah,
have an option.
Maybe you can even pick it up from there.
Yeah, probably just copy. Yeah, probably just copy the code. The one thing that like might be a little weird is, since I'll have multiple metrics, I think what I'll just do is have one decimal setting and then just have that apply to all the metrics. And I think that'll be okay for now. But it could be a little weird if you have like 3 metrics and you want, the first one to be 3 decimals and the second one to be 4 decimals, whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure how.
That would be ideal, but that's maybe too hard to do. But
yeah, just from like a UI perspective, it's a little confusing to think like how I would do that. But yeah, yep.
Okay,
cool.
That's nice. Interesting project.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
And Joe is still in the States, I assume?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I've noticed he a couple of times he tried to join this meeting, I think in his like local time, which wasn't like, it was the middle of the night here. So I think he's probably having calendaring confusion. But cool.
This looks good too.
Yeah, they have a bunch of nice stuff. So yeah. Cool. Let me I will open a proper issue for the DB downsize and then see if I can do that, because it'd be good to do that this week since the reservation is about to come up. So I'll add one here. Just so people know that I'm looking at it. Cool. And then I'll move the smoother onboarding back to soon, I think, because I'm done with like the Git pod part. There's definitely like documentation updates and stuff like that we're still gonna need, but I don't think I'm gonna work on those like right away. So Cool. So that's pretty much it. I'll ping Taka and see if
Yep.
he's making any progress here. And then Audrey is still just like reading up on Ruby and Rails stuff for the time being. But once she gets set up with that, maybe she can help jump in on this stuff as well.
Okay, so you had to talk with her? And
Yep.
separate talk after the meeting? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, just to give her passwords and stuff. So she has an Elasticsearch password that she can use for her dev environment and that sort of thing. I was like, how are things going? And she said, like, she's still just ramping up on the Ruby and Rails stuff. And I said, great, reach out if you have any questions. So,
But she seemed to be very serious, so that's good.
yeah, it'd be nice if she can help out on the cloud stuff too. Like a deploy button in Slack would be amazing. And it sounds like the space she's interested in. So
great.
It'd be cool to have the help. It's something I would love to do. It's just like, someone needs to, as is always the case, like I have a ton of things that I would love to do. I just don't have the good solid 2-hour block or 3-hour block to really make it happen. So my Safecast involvement is relegated to like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, which makes it really hard to come up with whole new deploy workflows. Yeah. But hopefully she'll have a little more time. Cool.
Okay, good. That's it then.
I think so. I'll post the recording.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for
Have a good one. Talk to you next week. Bye.